Coach, you've been telling the team and telling this room, the more you win, the more is at stake.
Yep.
It seems like your team is in a position to where the next however many games are going to be for a championship. How have you kind of balanced focusing on the immediate future and looking at the big picture with this group?
Yeah, we just, kind of early in the week, which is today and Sunday, remind the guys, hey, that they've put themselves in a position now where you got a chance to compete for a conference championship. So now here we are with this week. If we win this game, we have a chance to play for the conference championship. And then I'll mention it again on Friday, and that'll be it. So I want their thoughts more on the process than a potential outcome. But I'm proud of where they've worked, and the last couple of games have been kind of crazy, but they've come a long way since the start that we had, and we're very fortunate to have the opportunities that we have in front of us.
24 seniors. Sorry, Coach.
Go ahead.
24 seniors will be honored before the game on Saturday. Obviously, that group has meant a lot to you this season in getting things from where they were to where they are now.
Yeah, and it's the most unique situation with senior class that I've probably had, and I think probably most coaches would tell you that in this day and age of the transfer portal, you typically, before you have your seniors, and some of them were 4-year guys, some were 5-year guys, and now you have some that are 4-year guys, 5-year guys, and maybe a 6-year guy, and then a guy that was maybe a 1-year guy that's a transfer guy, or a 2-year guy. And so there's a whole different kind of mixture of it. But I'm proud that all of them that we have, even the guys that have only been here, 4 or 5 months, have bought into our culture, have contributed, and I think helped leave kind of their mark here. Moving up to Division I and be able to make a bowl game and 2 bowl games in a row. So I'm really proud of them, and it's a big class. There's going to be a lot of hard shoes to fill, but I hope we'll get a great crowd to kind of honor our seniors and thank them for their contributions.
Open up to questions for Coach.
How much have the seniors that have been here since you got here impacted the building of things?
Yeah, those are the guys that you feel that the people probably recognize the most, and I think all of them have contributed, but the ones that have been here since the very first day, I can remember when we had our very first team meeting when I was hired in the old building that was here, in the little old locker room that they had, and they had the old wooden chairs, and there might not have been 20 guys in there, and I don't know how many of those guys are still here. But the ones that were there then, and what they've gone through from 2.5 years waiting to move into this building, the transition from 1AA to 1A, to this year, from a bad start to put the point where it is, and they've gone through a lot, and they meant an awful lot to the school and our program, and there's a sense of gratitude that our whole staff, myself and our whole staff, has toward those guys.
The next 2 games are going to be on national TV. The conference championship game, I assume, is on national TV, and then the bowl game. Well, that mean 10 games on national TV for you guys. Just how special is it for you guys to get that level of exposure?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I didn't notice this was the 8th one, which is the most on national TV. And that's probably more than a lot of schools in Power Fives. And we use that in recruiting. We say, listen, you're going to get a lot of exposure if you come to Jax State, because our conference has their TV deal, and our guys having some success. And so it's kind of neat that those 8 games, and it's not just exposure for our program, it's exposure for the school. And we think either way, when you win or not, you're still getting a lot of positive exposure for the school. So I think it's been a big boon for all of us.
Coach, third quarters have been good for most of the year, but the last 2 weeks we've been kind of flat.
In where?
In the third quarter.
Yeah, I don't know. We hadn't played as well, I think, and on offense the third quarter and the last couple games. Defense has probably played a little better maybe in the third quarter. But I don't think there's nothing. I mean, I've said even when we were playing well in the third quarter, there's way too much put into halftime adjustments. So there's some things you got to fix, and you got about 10 minutes to do it. But more than that, I think it's just keeping the same type of intensity and focus, throughout the game, whether it's a third quarter or what have you, that you have in the beginning. And that's going to be important. You can't have too many of those. If you have a bad third quarter against Sam Houston, it's probably going to cost you the game.
The offense was kind of hot at the beginning of the year. It's kind of slowed down recently. Just what do you see out of their offense?
Yeah, a little bit. I've watched on their offense. They were playing really well early, scoring a lot of points, and the quarterback got hurt, and then they got him back last week, and so they're getting some of that rhythm back. But they got talented guys, and they have a lot like us. They've had a great season. They've got a lot at stake, so we'll get their best effort.
Any questions?
Defensively, their defense.
Yeah, one of the best in the league. Very, very athletic. They probably play more guys up front than anybody on our schedule. I mean, they'll rotate, shoot 7, 8 guys on the D-line. They're all very athletic. One of the most athletic team, probably the most athletic defense that we have seen, including some of those teams early in the year that were really good. So it's a big challenge. And they won. You look at some of their games, and they've won some tight ball games, and their defense has kind of pulled some of that out for them.
Injury-wise, with Wiggins back, is mostly everyone healthy at this point?
Yeah, we're a little banged up. I mean, there's some guys that we have concerns with, some starters that be limited in practice today and tomorrow, and that's probably typical this late in the year. And whatever this is 11th game, but I think we got guys going to try to fight through it. Having Ron back was good to get some reps, but this is one of those all hands on deck this deal now. This is not just a big game, but it's a seniors day and all that kind of stuff. But there's our guys have fought hard to get to this opportunity, and we'll do all we can to try to pull it out.
What would it mean to you if you can get them into the conference out game and bring it here? Just knowing you were here 3 years ago when it was, I guess it was kind of like the dream, like they were moving there, just to kind of.
Yeah, it wouldn't. Yeah, not so much about me. It's just the program itself. It doesn't happen. What our players have been able to do the last 3 years, it just doesn't happen very often because there's some, and we're still going through some transition, growing pains. And our guys have handled it really well. Our players have handled it really, really well. It's hard. It's hard to win anyway. It's particularly hard when you move up, from 1AA to 1A. There's always a period of time that transition is hard, and it is still hard for us. But our guys have been able to pull some wins out and helped our and not with just the wins, but help our program and our culture and all that get to where we want it to be in a hurry, and trying to maintain it with all the the transfer portal and all the stuff that's going on. It's harder to maintain, I guess, your culture or your way of doing things than ever before. And the reason we've been able to do it is because of the players like Sean and the rest of those guys that have been here. That's the reason why. And so from that aspect, they should be proud of themselves.
Following up on that, tough to win. 2 of your opponents you played earlier this year fired coaches. So another one fired their OC. Tom Herman's only been at FIU 2 years and he got fired. Is that because of?
I think it's a good question, Mike. There's always been maybe a lack of patience, I think, in some respects, with programs. And I think that's probably expedited now. It seems like, typically 2 years. You don't even get to go through 2 years. How are you supposed to be able to, get your stuff established in, especially nowadays with all that stuff going on. So it's, I don't, we kind of all know this. Coaches know that that's the kind of profession we live in. So everybody, and I don't blame people when their fan base gets mad if you're not winning and they want to blame it on the coach. They need to blame it on someone. So the coaches know that going in. It's a big boy profession, but it does seem that there's probably quicker triggers than before, and maybe it's because of that. People think, wow, shoot, if you don't have a good team, you can go get you a good team right away out of transfer portal, but sometimes you got to have money to do that. So it's a little different dynamic. It's almost going and I have to study this, but it's almost like the NFL. They don't have a lot of patience either, but they pay players, and they can go buy themselves a team, but they also have to wait for free agent periods and guys that aren't locked into contracts. And you think about college, you got free agency every year. I mean, every year it's open free agency. You don't have guys locked into I'm gonna have that guy for the next 3 or 4 years because he's on a multi-year contract and he ain't going nowhere. And so it used to be harder to develop guys in the NFL if you had to develop them than college, because they go now in college it's I guess you still got to be able to develop guys, but you got to be able to do it a lot faster. And so I don't know. It's I love coaching football. I love being around the guys and all that. But there's more challenges than there's ever been. As I've told you all, I told the coaches, the goalposts have moved. We got to move with it, and that's what we're trying to do.
How do you balance that in season? Obviously, you have 2 really tough opponents coming up, but you got to recruit high school.
You get high school visits coming in. The portal opens up in a couple weeks, and but you still got to you got to put your focus on your current team most. I think while you still have games, which we have the 2 more games, and we know we have a bowl game, and so you got to be able to balance all that. But you got a big enough staff to do it. But there's more challenges than ever before. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm not, I think if you've got great people around, which I do, I got great people around me that it can help. But they'll also, the hard part is you want your players to have more distractions now. You all know that, not just the social media part about it. Every player that's not getting the results he wants, a lot of them have people in their ear saying, well, you could get that better over here, or you could get better over here, and so they have more of that in their ears than they've ever had before. So you hope that they are listening to the right people, or they're focused on where they're at right now to do the best they can where they're at right now, not thinking, well, geez, if I was over there, I could be doing this. And I don't know if that's really healthy.
Sean, what has this program meant to you in the 3 seasons that you've been here, the chance to develop into the player and person that you are today? Just kind of reflect back a little bit on your time with this program.
The main thing, I'm just grateful, to have the opportunity to come here. It's kind of like what Rich Rob was talking about the transfer portal. I was lucky enough to be able to find a home here, and like I said, I've been grateful for the past. I'm going into this is my 4th year here, but 3rd year with Coach Rich Rod. And I honestly just couldn't be any happier.
Give us an idea on what this game on Saturday is going to be like. As Coach has said, there's a lot more at stake every time that you win, and you guys have put yourself in a position to where you win and you're in a conference championship game. Yeah,
definitely. After the first 3 games of the year, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that probably wrote us off. But we, in a way, we all kind of came together, and we turned it around right at the right point whenever conference started. And conference games matter a lot, and so being on a 7-game streak like this with 2 conference games left, I think it gives us a little bit more of a confidence, knowing that we can make it to that level, and just showing what we've done for the past 7 weeks.
Questions for Sean?
Just your production is down, but it seems like maybe you're doing more for the offense this year. Just kind of how do you handle that personally? Just knowing, like, hey, my stats are down, but hey, maybe I'm doing more to help the offense win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big stats guy. Obviously, I haven't had the same production in the passing game, but as you can see, Trey Stewart's like 5th in the nation right now in rushing touchdowns or something like that. Just being one of the ones along with the O-line and the other 2 tight ends we have, just blocking for him and showing everybody what he can do. I get a sense of pride from that, knowing that I'm part of a great offense like this.
And for you to have a chance to bring the title game to AmFirst Stadium, what does that mean for you? You guys who have been here long before you guys made the move to FBS.
That means everything. Moving up to the FBS level, it's a big step, and you don't see a lot of programs turning around like that and having success right away. So being able to do that in just the 2nd season of being in the conference alone, I think that really shows a lot, and we're all pumped for it.
Tell us about the touchdown play Saturday and just how good was it, you know, given what you've been doing for the team to get the opportunity to do that again?
No, it felt awesome, man. You know, it kind of made me look back, and it's kind of like what I was just saying. I haven't had the same production in the passing game. But, you know, as soon as it happened, every single teammate I had met me out on the field before I could even get to the sideline. You know, it just made me feel really good about myself. And, yeah, it was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome
Seemed
moment.
like you broke wide open on that play. Tell us about it.
Well, it was a little too high safety look. We've had that play in for a few weeks now, and it finally opened up to where Tyler could hit me over the middle, and it was fun.
Is that kind of like maybe every tight end's dream, just find themselves wide open?
Oh, yeah, definitely, especially running right down the middle of the field, not having to make any cuts or anything, just running a straight line.
Share a little bit about your position group and kind of mentoring guys like JB and Cole and Pearson and what you guys work well together on.
Yeah, I know the past few weeks we put in a lot more personnel groupings where we have more tight ends on the field, and I think it's just because they've grown in that room, you know, with Coach Richrod having the confidence to put three of us out there and everybody know that we're running the ball, and, you know, we still are really good at it. I think it shows a lot for our O-line and for the tight end group.